Silence never arrives as a decision. It arrives like a room that stops answering. At first, there's sound, minimal, almost polite. Then, something doesn't respond anymore. No announcement, no warning, just absence. From the outside, it looks the same. INFJ, INFP. Same stillness, same withdrawal, same vanishing point. But the exit is not the same. The silence is identical. The direction is not. Most people get this wrong immediately. They assume silence is a message, a punishment, a pause, a test. They think it's asking to be chased. It isn't. Silence is the language of the one who already moved, not the one who stayed. And here, INFJ and INFP part ways, long before anyone notices. Because one of them finished before disappearing. The other disappeared to avoid finishing. That difference matters more than it looks. There's a moment nobody talks about. The moment when the connection is already over, but the body is still sitting there, still listening, still nodding, still present. That's where the INFJ lives, for longer than anyone realizes. Not because they hope, not because they're confused, because they're closing something. Internally, quietly, methodically. The INFP doesn't stay there. The INFP feels the rupture sooner. A value shifts. A line is crossed. Something sacred gets brushed aside, or worse, ignored. And the body pulls back before the mind finishes the sentence. Not as strategy, as reflex. The silence becomes a shield, not to disappear, but to protect something that's bleeding. From the outside, both vanish. From the inside, one already locked the building and returned the keys. The other closed the door just long enough to breathe. No explanation is offered, and that is where the friction starts. Because people expect silence to mean something for them. But it doesn't. The INFJ doesn't go quiet to protect themselves. They go quiet because there's nothing left to do. That's the mistake most people make. They think the INFJ is reacting. They're not. They're executing. The reaction happened earlier, internally, where no one could see it. By the time silence arrives, the conclusion already exists. Clean, complete. No anger, no chaos, just clarity. Cold, only because it's finished. The INFP doesn't conclude. They resist. Their silence isn't closure. It's containment. A way to stop the damage from spreading inward. A way to avoid a worse betrayal. The one where they abandon themselves. So they retreat, not to punish, to preserve, to understand whether what was hurt can still exist without being distorted. Time behaves differently here. For the INFJ, time is already spent. They are not waiting. They are not testing. They are not hoping you'll say the right thing. The silence isn't a pause. It's the after effect. Even if the perfect words arrived, they would land too late. Not because they're wrong, because the structure already shifted. For the INFP, time is everything. Time is the buffer between honesty and self-betrayal. Speaking too soon would fracture something essential. So silence holds the space. Not forever, but dangerously. If that silence is violated, it hardens. If it's respected, it can soften. That's why the INFJ's silence feels final. There are no signals, no indirect checks, no emotional leakage. They don't circle back, They don't hover. The future has already been removed from the imagination. The INFP, even in silence, remains open, porous, thinking, feeling, questioning. The retreat is not sealed, but it is sensitive. Push the wrong way, and it becomes permanent. Here's the part most people miss. The INFJ stopped imagining us before they stopped speaking. The INFP keeps imagining, not fantasy, but possibility. A version where they don't have to erase themselves to stay connected. That imagination is not optimism, it's resistance. Neither silence is meant as punishment, but both feel brutal to the one left outside, because silence removes you from the center of the story. The INFJ is responding to an internal conclusion. The INFP is responding to an internal wound. You are not the audience anymore, that's what hurts. Look backward, and the signs were always there. The INFJ stored micro-distances, small disappointments, unspoken fractures, patterns quietly logged. The INFP expressed what mattered, sometimes too clearly, and when that clarity wasn't honored, the retreat began. Silence didn't start the rupture, it revealed it. Guilt behaves differently too. The INFJ doesn't feel guilty for going quiet. They already paid the cost earlier by thinking, accommodating, processing for two. When silence arrives, they believe they've done enough. The INFP feels guilt even in withdrawal, not toward you, toward themselves. They fear becoming someone who abandons kindness. Silence becomes the compromise between truth and connection. Confusing these silences is dangerous. Chasing the INFJ as if they're waiting usually fails. Abandoning the INFP as if they're done can turn pause into fracture. But this isn't advice, it's friction, because silence doesn't want solutions. It wants to be recognized as what it already is. There is a moment where you could still speak to the INFJ, but it wouldn't matter. The timing collapsed earlier. With the INFP, every word is a risk, and they can't tell you where the mines are, neither explains. Not because they can't, because explanation would damage something further. For the INFJ, it would reopen a finished structure. For the INFP, it would force justification while the value is still exposed. So silence becomes the only language left, not to be understood, to be respected. And the hardest part, silence doesn't ask for respect, it assumes it. When that assumption is wrong, it feels like violence. In the end, two exits, same corridor, same door, no sound. One door closes behind an empty building. The other closes a room to keep the cold out while something fragile is being reassembled. From the outside, they look identical. From the inside, they never were. And if you're still standing there, staring at the door, it may not be that they stopped talking to you. It may be that the silence was never meant for you at all. It was speaking to something much deeper. Something that, once crossed, doesn't return to its old voice. And if this didn't feel explanatory but accurate, you're probably in the right place.